to the Curly Fisherman. Hope you're all well. And today you join me on a rather wet Monday morning down at Shackells Lake again. Now, if you've watched my previous vlog, then I wanted to see if I can come back and get a little bit more of that action. Got here and there's fizzing absolutely everywhere. Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely everywhere. So I've put some spod mix out, which I'll show you in a minute. And yeah, I've got the rods out, and so far, actually nothing. There's been fish showing all over the lake. They've been fizzing up on my sort of area, but as you'll see in a minute by my rigs, I've got a multi rig out there, and I've just got a snowman rig out there. Yeah, they've been out for about half an hour, so when I got here, it's sort of got straight on, get the rods out, because it's fizzing like crazy, but it's not actually came to anything. So it might have to be solid bags, but I haven't got many, so it might be a sort of keep one rod on the bottom on my beta patch and one on a solid bag. But give it another sort of hour and then we'll figure it out. So as you can see, you can just about see on the water, it's that real fine, like misty rain, which gets you absolutely soaked. So I do have to brought it up. Yeah, rookie error, snap one of my screws off my stage stands. So when this sort of passes, I'm just going to bring my front one back, and I'll just be able to use my bank stick in the grass. I'm not a fan of having my tips up like that unless I absolutely need to. But yeah, I've got both out towards that swim on the far bank. 6 1/4 wraps. I've just put some spod mix over out there, which is just consisting of ground bug boilies. I've got some mulched up SLK boilies. No, they're S7 boilies. And then I've got some krill meal in there, and then I've just put some whole in half, again bug, and S7 boilies in there with some S7 liquid, which absolutely stinks, and that's out there, and they've been fizzing like mad over it. But so far there really hasn't been anything to go on. There was one fish that was sort of washed out over my area. Excuse me. But sort of nothing's really come of it just yet. Obviously, my last vlog, though, it was all happening on solid bags, which I haven't actually been able to get to the tackle shop yet and get any. So I think I might have like 5 or 6, but that could only potentially be 5 or 6 bites, potentially. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an hour as they are. I'm gonna bring the rods in. If nothing's happened in an hour, I'm gonna change onto solid bags. I do actually have some mesh as well, so I might put one on solid bag and one on just sort of like a mesh bag on the hook, and just keep it as a snowman rig. Still sort of provides the bait around the hook, so I mean, the wind is pushing down this end of the lake, sort of left to right, so but it's not cold. Yeah, it's quite a mild day. Obviously this sort of misty rain is due to dry up later. that stuff that gets you absolutely drenched. There's a fish just surfaced there. Look. They're very active. I just don't think they're getting their heads down fully. But it's now 20 to 8. Been fishing since 7 o'clock. Just before 7 maybe. So yeah, I'll update you if anything happens. Well, I've swapped over to solid bags now. I've kept a solid bag on a baited spot, which is about here, and then a PVA bag down here. And they've both got solid bags. Got one on a PB wafter and one on a crayfish hooker. So yeah, they're out there now. Like misty rain hacking down this end. But yeah, I mean, so far there's been a lot of activity in the area. There's been a lot of fish washing and a lot of fishing, but now that ripple's gone in the water, I can't really see any of that fishing, but still seeing the odd fish show. I am hearing a lot of action up to the left. At the sort of main body of the lake. Yeah, there's been a lot of action further up here. But I mean, you know, I'm not opposed to moving. I will happily move if I feel like I need to. This is a beautiful swim. I can release. So I believe this is a shallower end of the lake, where you can see now. So yeah, I mean, obviously the ripples are on that, so you know, because that's on the back of the wind, it might be a bit warmer up there. That wind is quite chilly. But I'm going to give it another hour in the swim that I'm in now, and yeah, if nothing comes of it, then I might move. Well, how about that then? Fish number 1 today. Probably about £10 common. Fished left hand rod with a solid bag out over the baited spot, and DNA PV wafter with a solid bag. Flip it around a minute. Got straight in the air. Lovely. I was doing self takes at the same time. So yeah, there's the other side. Got a little wound there. little wound on his mouth, so I'm just going to put some carp care on that. And yeah, I'll slip him back. Hopefully it's not the last one. But yeah, the rods are back out again. I've put them both out on the baited area, both on PB wafters. So hopefully there's more to come. And so with this fish, I'm just spraying. He says, spray that on there, and I'll just leave that. So this is just Gardener Intensive Care Anti-Back and Anti-Fungal Spray. There you go. I'm just going to flip him over. Hey, calm it. He's got a bit of damage to his mouth. So I'm just going to he's got a bit of damage to his mouth there, look. Yep. So again, I'll just leave that on there then. Don't have to wipe it off or anything. Hopefully he'll be nice and healed for the next person that catches it. Oh, I'm in. Yep. Wow, weird was that? Just to release that fish. The fish that bossed over by that metal overflow there, and then my rod has just gone ripping off. Right, let's get this one in and I'll get back to you. Well, just as you would have seen me trying to put that fish back, I had a run on a right hand rod. There was a fish that bossed just over by, there's a metal overflow in the middle, well, I say in the middle of the lake, in the water. Yeah, fish crashed out next to that, and all of a sudden my rod's ripping off, which is that direction. Got it within 4 foot, 5 foot of the bank, and it's just made one lunge and just snapped me off. Clean, which is really annoying, because like obviously that's like it snapped me above, well, snapped my main line, which is annoying. But everything will come off that. Lead, you know, tubing, lead will come off. It's just annoying because it's going to be trailing some line. But hopefully with it being a barbless hook, it will get rid of that ASAP. Yeah, it's just really frustrating when stuff like that happens, because I checked my line last night for probably 24 foot, just for, you know, any nicks, just before I set my rods up, just so if there was, I could remove it, but there was nothing. But yeah, unfortunately I lost that one. I've got the rod back out again. Got about 3 hours left of the session, so just hopefully, fingers crossed, I can hook another one. But yeah, I really do hope that that fish can get rid of the hook. Like I said, it was a barbless hook. The hook hole didn't look very great, so yeah, hopefully it will get rid of it. But yeah, the rod's back out. I mean, the rain stopped, slowly started to try and brighten up, but yeah, I just got to get some more PVA back, well, solid bag mix made up. So yeah, I'll show you how I'll do that now. Sure, I've mentioned in this video or my previous video at Shackells that I'm using solid bags. Now, I do make my own solid bag mix, just because I find that it works for me. So yeah, I'm just going to show you what I use and how I do it. So here is there's some 15mm bug boilies and there's some 12mm S7 boilies. So I literally put them, got a crusher, put them in a crusher, give it a good twist up, and I'll just pour that. I just have this little tub today because I use the rest of my PVA bag mix. I mix it with my spod mix. So yeah, I'll get that in there, and yeah, you see that is the start. So I'm going to get that tub filled up. That'll do about 10 bags. So I'm going to get that filled up. In actual fact, I do actually then add some DNA baits. This is dry krill meal, which makes up about 20% of the mix. So my boilies, both boilies make up 80%, and then I'll put 20% of my mix in, being krill meal. So yeah, I'll get another tub made up, and I'll show you what it looks like, because it's sort of like a brownie, sort of like that colour now, but then obviously goes to the more red once you've got the krill meal in. So yeah, I'll give you a show. So this is my PVA bucket, sort of PVA bags, mesh. So in here, obviously this is basically how I make my solid bag mix. So I've obviously got my boilies, like I said, a bug and S7, DNA, dry krill meal, and that's the outcome of, I don't know, done 2/3 of a tub. So that's what I'll fill my bags with. Normally I would have a big bucket sort of made up with mix ready to go, and then this in a separate bucket. But these are the hook baits I use in my solid bags. So DNA baits, crayfish hookers, 10x15, and these, which are absolutely smashing it here. Like, this has done all the bites on this lake. So if I had 10 bites over my last 2 sessions here, and they've all been on fluoro wafters, well, PB wafters. So get on the PB wafters. Yeah, happy days. And then obviously in here, it's a mess, but yeah, this is what I normally use, PVA, which is Fox rapid load system, just purely for the fact that it is incredible. It's quick, it's easy, you've got a locking collar to put around, so you can put it into your bag, you remove the locking collar, then it expands and holds the bag in place. So all you've got to do is hold that, fill your bag, put your hook length in, and then just, you haven't got to worry about having your fingers in the bag. But yeah, that's what I usually use, but I've run out of that in my last session here. So I've just got, these are quarter solid bags, but I'm not a fan of them, they're too wide for my liking. And yeah, take a bit longer to make up, whereas with this, it is rapid. That's for sure. But yeah, no, just have PVA tape if for using these ones, just tie it off. Bait a needle in there just so I don't have to go into my tackle box all the time. So yeah, that is basically what I'll take, plus another one of these full of what is in there. So I'll have that whole bucket, that, and another one of them in there, and that's basically all I need for PVA bag fishing. So I've just done like a lap of the lake, all the way around, just to try and see if I could see any sort of fizzing up or sort of showing fish. There's literally not been anything. So I think I'm going to stay put for a minute. I've been standing here, which is on the damn wall, for sort of 20 minutes, and as you can see behind me, you can literally see a whole piece of water. So, I haven't seen anything here now, which it gives me an indication that there might be fish, in a different part of the lake. So I think I'm going to sit tight. I'm going to go back to the rods. I'm going to put some fresh PVA bags out. Because I just thought I'd have a wander to see if there's anything happening elsewhere, but it doesn't seem to be. Obviously, with the ripple on the water now, you can't see any sort of patch of feeding fish, like the fizzing patch of bubbles coming up and nothing. So yeah, I'm going to go back round to the rods, get 2 fresh PVA bags knocked up, and get them mounted, hopefully. Because what's the time now? Let's have a look. 11:15, so I've got just over 2 hours. So I'll leave it around about 1:30 to 3 hours to try and make something else happen. The rain's still coming down ever so slightly, so the only fish I have seen is the last one that by this overflow here, it's bossed out there, and then my right hander ripped off when I lost it. So yeah, well, get the rods back out and see what happens. If I see anything in the meantime, over the next sort of hour and a half, 2 hours, I will move if needs be. I think it's going to be worth it, but who knows? Well, a little update. Hopefully you can hear me because my mic has stopped working for some reason. Yeah, just have proper sort of half-assed take as such. Sort of took it and ran straight away, and then stopped and ran again. So I'm sort of playing it for, I don't know, sort of 90 minutes, yep, sort of 60 to 90 seconds, and then you sort of feel it flicking over the dorsal fin line, just sort of pinging off his fins, which is horrible. I hate the feeling of that anyway. But yeah, it just did a crazy like dash to my right, which is under my right hand rod, and sort of strip line, and it was sort of heading out back towards it, so I sort of didn't want it to go over my right hand rod, sort of take that out, so I put a bit of side strain on it, but it was really weird, like proper stuttery like movements, and yeah, I don't know, and then the hook just pulled, but I don't think it could have been a very good hook hold in the first place. The hook was absolutely razor sharp, like, but yeah, I don't know what. But the rod back out, and I've had lines on both rods since. But yeah, I mean, I've got about an hour left. I'm just hoping that maybe one more fish. Fingers crossed, one more fish. But yeah, if not, then yeah, I've had one. All right, yeah, I've lost two, but that's the way it goes. Can't win them all. Yeah, I mean, considering I've only fished this lake twice, and I've caught both times, I'm pretty happy with that. And you can't complain. But yeah, I've had a bream as well, which was, I mean, it was a one toner and stripped about 15 yards of line before we even got to the rod, which was crazy. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to update you with a fish within the next hour. But yeah, if not, then I'll see you in a minute. So the rods are, now I've got a PVA bag on my right hand rod, which is about 4 foot to the right of that overflow. So I'm in line with that swim on to the right of it. And then my left hand rod is on the baited spot, which is sort of here. It's only 6.25 wraps. But yeah, there seems to be a bit of fizzing. There've been a couple of fish show over the top of that. So but that's the rod that I've lost both fish. No, it's not. I've lost one on my left hand rod, one on the right hand rod. And I think I got picked up and done on my right hand rod. It's either that or it was a bream that couldn't get the hook in its mouth as well. But yeah, rain stopped finally. So while that stopped, I'm gonna get everyone onto the barrow, I think. And yeah, so like I've got about an hour left. I'm actually the only one down here. I mean, it is a Monday, so. But yeah, I'm the only one here. The rods are out. That's my two Sonic SKS Black 12 foot, 3.5 pound test curve, I think they are. And then they've got my Daiwa M-Cast. Oh, I missed that. Absolute. There's quite a decent fish that just jumped on the back there. That was a, yeah, Daiwa M-Cast 5000s with Sonic, no, with an Ash Irons. And my Advanta stage stands, which are amazing. Unless you don't bring spare screws, like I have. But yeah, it just makes it so much easier because with a pod, if it's not strapped down, you get an absolute, you know, if you're fishing down my right hand margin now, and you get an absolute screaming run, it just sort of knocks a pod over. But with these, it's just so much more stable. And I mean, 90% of the lakes I fish have wooden platforms at the minute. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of videos as well, we'll be just visiting a couple of different waters after a couple of different species as well. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of them. And hopefully I'll be back with you with a fish. Well, that's it. Rods on the floor, barrow's loaded, and yeah, got about 10 minutes left, so if anything happens then you'll see that after this clip. But yeah, that was it. Second session at Shackells Lake. That was a mouthful. Yeah, only one fish to show for me effort this time, but I mean, at least I didn't blank. It's a shame I lost 2 fish. Nobody likes losing fish, but it happens to us all. Yeah, so I mean, you know, if you do want to give this a go, this lake, then you can join Amalgamated Fisheries, which I will leave a link in the description. I will also leave a kit list in the description as well. It's just the rods and reels and stuff that I've been using. But yeah, it's safe to say that at least I didn't blank. And hopefully I can get back to the van before it starts raining. If you have got this far, then thanks for watching. I really do appreciate your views and support. If you could hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and if you fancy leaving a comment below, then that would be great as well. Hopefully you're all enjoying your own angling, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.